Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs, welcome back to another video. Now today we are joined by the wonderful RebecTV.
Hello, I'm Rebecca. I have a YouTube channel, RebecTV, which I upload Doctor Who content to about once a century. And I also have a Twitter, Lil Romana, where I do chaotic things.
I definitely recommend going and checking out Rebecca on Twitter and YouTube, links of which are both in the description. So we'll just jump straight in.
What an honour. The Day of the Doctor, because the dynamic between 10, 11 and War was iconic, and it is controversial because some people don't like it, but it is one of the best ever, and to have Tom Baker as a curator was gold. Curator, such a hard word to say.
Yeah, I think that, I wouldn't say Day of the Doctor is the best, but I think it's a solid, anniversary special. What are your thoughts on that whole episode?
When it first came out, I was a bit of a crazy person. I was one of those people that was like, oh, I hate everything. But now when I look back on it, I think it's a really fun episode and it makes me happy.
Yeah, I do love the bit at the end, especially with the curator, harkening back to classic Who all of that. I think it's a very good episode. Right, so next comment says, I have to say Torchwood, Children of Earth. And by the way, I said for this, when I asked them all for the comments, I said, out of all Who media ever, what's their favourite story? So I presume a lot of these are going to include spin-off material and stuff. So Blobfish says, I have to say Torchwood, Children of Earth. It's probably one of the darkest things in the Doctor Who universe, but it works really well, and it's got Capaldi. You can't dislike Capaldi. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Capaldi is fantastic. I'd say it is the best Torchwood series.
100%. Miracle Day, it's weird because I first watched Miracle Day when I was about 14, and I really loved it, but I rewatched it during the first lockdown, and I just thought it was a bit crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, because I only got into Torchwood this time last year, I think, because I was watching Miracle Day during the first lockdown as well, and it just, I don't know, it's not the same as the other three. It's not bad,
and it goes on a while,
and the ending to it seems a bit rushed, because it's gone on how many episodes, 7 or 8 episodes, and then the ending is just really quickly wrap everything up and hope it works. And I can see why someone would have Children of Earth as their favourite, Doctor Who content thing, especially if they like darker stories.
Yeah. Modern Who, Blink, and for the Sarah Jane Adventures, they've said The Wedding of Sarah Jane.
I mean, I can't really argue with that. They are 2 very good episodes.
I always find it quite surprising that they got Nigel Havers as the husband man. That's a really great guest star, especially for the spin-off on CBBC.
I think that might be my favourite Sarah Jane Adventures episode as well. I can just remember when David Tennant comes in and everything, the childish nostalgia there is amazing.
I think all the Trickster stories are so good. I want him in Doctor Who. Series 13, come on, Chibbers.
Yes, we'll put that in the title. Some good clickbait. Yeah. What do you think of Blink as well? Because I rewatched it the other week, and I think it is one of the most well-written, contained Doctor Who stories of all time.
Oh my god, I absolutely agree. I've watched it so many times over the years, and it never gets old. I never get bored of it. There's always something that I pick up on in every watch. I'm like, oh my god, that's so clever. Thing with the script. I can't get over how good that is. Moffat, I salute you.
Yeah, I agree. I love Blink as well, because you said, every time you go back, there's one little thing where it's oh, that ties into this. And it is a very good episode. Cyberman Alf says, for me, it just has to be heaven sent. It's a Doctor Who story with everything you want from a Doctor Who episode. An intriguing mystery, beautiful music, phenomenal acting, directing that is second to none, and payoff, etc. Yeah, I'd agree. I think maybe Heaven Sent's a tad overrated. I know that's going to be very controversial to say. It is a brilliant episode, but what are your thoughts on Heaven Sent?
I do love Heaven Sent. I think at first I didn't like it. Again, it was back in the days when I was very angry about everything for some reason.
Every Doctor Who fan sort of went through that phase of just, I don't like the show anymore.
You know, I was just an insane person. But yeah, I think, sorry to get deep, but especially after I lost my granddad, actually, when I rewatch that now, it does mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, Capaldi's just amazing in it. What a legend.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. It is incredibly well written. Like, and I don't think any other Doctor could pull off just like on their own monologue for the entire thing. So yeah, props to Capaldi for that.
Right, so Sarah Jane Smith says, The Hand of Fear is my all-time favourite. It's everything that Doctor Who needs to be. Fun, enjoyable, and has Liz Sladen in it.
That's the one where she leaves, isn't it?
Yeah. I love that Hand of Fear. I think it's definitely a comfort story for me. Like if I feel sad,
fair enough.
That's one to go to.
The only thing I'd say I don't like about that episode and a bit of that era is that wooden TARDIS console room.
Yeah, no, I don't really like it either. So you're not alone in that. I just have never dared to say it.
Yeah, the comments will be full of, how could you insult this? But yeah. Right, so Doctor Who Man 2010 says, The Curse of Fenwick. It's everything Doctor Who should be. Mysterious, character-driven, gripping, and furthers the mystery of the Doctor without having to destroy the previous continuity. Like sort of went a little bit not my Doctor at the end. Yeah, I think Curse of Fenwick is another very good story.
I love it so much. When I met Sylvester, I had a bit of a fangirl over the Curse of Fenwick and embarrassed myself. I also love how Anne Reid is in both the Curse of Fenwick and Smith and Jones. And in the Curse of Fenwick's about hemovores. And in the other one, she's a plasmavore. I love that.
Oh, I've never actually noticed that before, but yeah. Now, whenever I watch those two episodes, I'm just going to correlate that in my head. But yeah, I love little tidbits like that in Doctor Who because there's so many reused actors, and yeah,
yes,
it is.
So many.
The BBC just sort of cycles through about 10 different people.
Mark Gatiss in every episode.
And like Sherlock as well, Mark Gatiss just pops up everywhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what do you think about, like, without going too in depth, the whole Timeless Child thing? Because like this person clearly isn't the biggest fan of it, but what are your thoughts on the Timeless Child?
God, I don't think I've ever actually said anything about this. I'm not an NMD or anything. I'm just not the biggest fan of the reveal. I think maybe I'd have liked it more if it was the Master or someone that's not the Doctor.
I think a lot of people say as well they would like it to turn out to have been the Master the whole time, pulling some sort of trick. And I mean, I wouldn't be against that. I've sort of gotten used to it now because it is almost a year since the episode came out, isn't it?
I'm excited to see where Chibbers is going to take it.
I'll agree with that.
More Jo Martin as well. I love her.
I mean, what would you think if Jo Martin ended up being the 14th Doctor? Because that's a lot of like sort of speculation there. It's probably not going to happen, but like, would you like to see that?
I love that. I love Jo Martin. I think she's just the best, and she's everything I'd want in a Doctor. So if she was the 14th, I would be praising the heavens. I don't know what I'm saying. I'd be happy.
Yeah, I agree. She was like, she's there for like 20 minutes, but in those 20 minutes, she just plays the Doctor incredibly, incredibly well. So yeah, would be brilliant to see her come back.
Thomas High once said, for me, I would say The Stolen Earth Journey's End because it had been building up the whole of the Russell T Davies era and wraps everything up perfectly. It's like the Avengers Infinity War of Doctor Who, in my opinion.
Assemble. I'd agree with that. I think Russell T Davies said in an interview the other week that he sort of did Infinity War before Infinity War happened.
I really enjoyed that story. I remember watching it.
Yeah.
Because weirdly, the shot I remember watching, sitting when I was a little doll, was when Jackie Tyler's looking through that circular window on the Dalek. I don't know why. That just always stuck in my head. But yeah, it's amazing.
Plaque of the Geek says, for me, it's Vincent and the Doctor. Now, I have a kind of controversial take on this. Like, I love the episode, don't get me wrong, but I think it is slightly overrated.
This ain't it.
Like, everyone says they cry at the end. And yeah, I get like, I do get emotional, but I don't think it compares to a lot of other stories. However, I do think it is very, very clever with its whole like allegories for like depression and all of that. I think that part of the story is nailed very well.
What other episodes do you think do the whole emotional aspect better then, do you think?
I don't know whether it's just because I was like young when watching them, but I love just like when the Doctor and Rose in the Stolen Earth meet and then he gets shot
the thing goes
down. Like, it's really cheesy, but that moment for me, it's just so like, because I'm not even the biggest fan of Rose. I just think it worked so well, especially with like the whole build up and moments like that, I think.
I mean, I love Vincent and the Doctor. I mean, it's one that I can't rewatch a lot because it makes me cry, because I am just the softiest person in the whole world. But yeah, solid. I just have a very basic opinion on it.
It's fair enough.
Have you seen the next one? Right, so the person is called Clown, and they have a clown profile picture. And they said, easily loving monsters. It is a meta masterpiece, in capital letters. The Absorbaloff is an absolute unit.
I mean, he's not wrong.
And a really scary monster, again in capital letters. Elton is so cool, and I ship him and Ursula. Hashtag Elserlton. I think that's meant to be the ship name.
Yeah. I'm assuming that was full of dramatic, jokey irony. What are your thoughts on Love and Monsters?
I can't lie, I love Love and Monsters. Honestly, when I rewatched it, because I did a big rewatch of Doctor Who in like 2017, and I'd been away from the fandom, and I hadn't really watched it since 2006, and I was like, oh, this episode's really good, and it wasn't until I went online that I realised people think it's rubbish. I just thought the general opinion would be that it's great, so I still don't understand why people. I guess it's because I'm silly.
It's strange because I've spoken to a lot of people, like a lot of my friends as well. As kids, they loved Love and Monsters, and it's only when they've grown up they've gone like, hang on, everyone hates this.
Yeah.
To wrap the video up, what would you say is your all-time favourite episode of Doctor Who?
I just realised that Jim sat here the whole time. This is Jim.
Help me, I am so confused.
I have an obvious favourite. My favourite Doctor Who story is City of Death. I love City of Death. I'm a Romana stan. I mean, I even look like her. I love her so much that I inherited genes. Made me look like her. I'm definitely just, as I've said, a really soppy person. So I love Paris and the romantic aspect of that episode, even if you don't think. I mean, Lala and Tom got married, for God's sake.
I would say, like, I think the Fourth Doctor and Romana 2, like, sort of ship is my favourite in Doctor Who. Like, the two of them just work so well together.
It's just so lovely. I love Scaroth. It's like such a interesting and fun take on a story. It's so creative. I think because like in classic Who, a lot of it is sort of like studio bound, whereas City of Death is more free.
I get what you mean, especially seeing like the iconic landmarks like the Eiffel Tower and all of that. Like it makes the story feel much more like real in a sense. Like you feel like you're almost there with the characters. That does wrap up today's video.
Hello people of the interwebs, let me just quickly interrupt this scheduled programming to say massive thank you to Osh, who social media is on screen. He edited a large chunk of this video because I've been very busy recently, so we wouldn't actually have this video in time without Osh. So thank you very much, Osh. Let's just go back to the video. Boom.
As I said at the beginning, if you want to check out Rebecca on Twitter and YouTube, links are both in the description. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to click below.
Subscribe to the confused Adipose.